Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today we're going to be going over some brand new LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2021 set news, and this is going to be regarding an upcoming Marvel What If set that we now have information on, and then also more information has come out for the Marvel CMF series, so I'm going to be going over my predictions for the 12 minifigures that could be possibly coming in that series. So without further ado, let's get straight into it here with the set. Alright, so we're gonna kick it off here by going over the Marvel What If set that was revealed, and this one is going to be set number 76194, and it's going to include Steve Rogers' World War II Iron Man suit with Peggy Carter / Captain Britain, and this set's going to include 369 pieces and retail for $34.99 USD and then $44.99 Canadian, and then the release date is going to be August of 2021. So I wanted to cover this set in this video just briefly because of course this kind of eliminates the possibility of us getting Captain Britain / Peggy Carter in the CMF series as one of the What If figures. So I wanted to cover it here within this video and just to make you aware of the set releasing as well. So I'm definitely really excited for this one and I can't wait till we get to see photos. Alright, so now we're going to get into the Marvel CMF series that we're going to be receiving, and this one is going to be set number 71031, and this one's going to be Disney Plus base, which is very exciting. It's apparently going to be based on WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and then What If as well. So this is really exciting. I cannot wait to find out what is going to come in this series. And for this prediction list, because there should be 12 minifigures in this series, as it's been for the last couple of minifigure series, so I'm going to guess that for each show there's going to be 3 figures from each of them included in the series, of course, to make up the total of 12. So that's how I'm going to kind of frame this prediction list, is that we'll go over the first 3, which I'm going to guess are from WandaVision, then we'll go through 3 for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then on with the other shows as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into it here with the first possible figure. Alright, so before I start to go through the characters here, I do want to warn everyone that there are going to be spoilers here for some of the characters, so if you haven't watched all of WandaVision or you haven't seen some of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then you might want to steer clear of this list here. And then for Loki and What If, there really aren't as many spoilers because of course I haven't seen either of the shows, and we just know from any promotional things that have been released for either of them. But to kick it off here for the first figure that I think could be coming in the series, of course, starting off with WandaVision here, is Wanda herself, but in her final Scarlet Witch costume from the finale episode. I think that this one is probably the most likely version that we're going to get for Wanda here. I think it's definitely the best Scarlet Witch costume that she's had thus far. I think she looks fantastic, and it would just be so cool in LEGO to get that molded sort of new headpiece there with sort of like the tiara that she has on the front there. I don't have a better word for it, but you get what I mean, the little headdress piece there, and then her hair. I think it would be really cool and a great opportunity for a new mold there, so I would love to see that. And then the torso and the leg printing would be really great. I would imagine they might use some sort of skirt piece as well with fabric, because it kind of looks like a bit of fabric there going around her legs, so that's what I would imagine as well. And it would definitely be very cool to see some arm printing also for kind of like the parts of her sleeves right there. So I would really like to see quite a few things for this figure. I imagine it's going to wind up being quite detailed if they do wind up going through and making this version of Wanda, so I definitely look forward to it if this winds up being the case. Then the next character here from WandaVision is going to be a variant of Vision here. Of course, you would expect from the show WandaVision, you're going to get at least one version of Wanda and then Vision as well. Now for Vision, my first obvious choice was like the Halloween version of him, because we've gotten previous like just standard versions of Vision before, so I kind of knew that was probably going to be a write-off, that we weren't going to wind up getting just a standard Vision, which I of course wouldn't really want for a special CMF series like this, but I thought that possibly it could wind up being the Halloween version that we could receive, but it wouldn't really make a lot of sense if we wind up receiving the finale version of Wanda instead of the Halloween version. Now if we do wind up getting the Halloween version of Wanda and then the Halloween version of Vision, then I think that would work really well, but the choice that I actually want them to do is White Vision right here, so I think that would be really exciting because it's technically a completely different character but still a version of Vision, of course, so I think that would be really cool to see, of course, a completely different color scheme going on with this version of Vision, and I think it looks really cool as well. A lot of nice details that you could definitely put into the minifigure as well, so I would definitely look forward to that. A really cool cape as well in that color scheme of the white, so I think it would just be a really great looking figure that I think would turn out really well, and this was a really interesting character who I could definitely see them exploring more about in a future sort of either Marvel film or another Marvel series, so I would definitely expect them to kind of expand upon this character, so it would make sense to put them in the CMF series. Alright, so now for the final character here from WandaVision in the series, it was a toss-up between two of them. The first one that I thought about was possibly Pietro Maximoff, of course, just the fake version of him in the series played by Evan Peters, but I think that they wouldn't really include that character once again because I just don't feel like he might have had a large enough screen presence within the series, and I also just don't really think that it would work as well because he turned out to be a fake, so I don't know if people would care as much, even though of course I think he did a great job and I think his character worked really well within the show, but I think there's someone who I would rather get in the series, and that is Agatha Harkness right here. I think that she would just be so great to get in the series, of course, even though she's not evil throughout the whole series, or at least we don't know that she's evil throughout the whole series, but she appears at least throughout each episode, so I think it would make a lot more sense here, a more recurring character, and even though that doesn't really work for White Vision, I feel like it's still a variation of Vision, but nonetheless, I think she's a really great choice. Such a cool costume design as well in her sort of final look in the finale, and of course that would go together really well with Wanda and the White Vision as well, considering these are all big characters in the finale of the season, so I think it would definitely make a lot of sense. Could be a really cool design for the character, and it's definitely one of my top choices. Alright, so the next show here is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and the first minifigure that I think will be included in the series is Sam Wilson, the Falcon, of course, one of the title characters. Now for Sam, I think it's more of a question of what suit they're going to put him in for this series, more so than even the character being included. It seems pretty obvious that, of course, one of the title characters would be included in the series, and I think for the suit, of course, he's wearing kind of the primary look that he's been sporting throughout the first 4 episodes of the series, but I have seen some concept art and just images of him in a more Captain America-esque looking suit, so I think there is potential for that maybe being the possible minifigure outfit that they wind up putting him in, because I think he'll wind up donning that costume in either the second last episode or the finale of the season, so I think that could also make a lot of sense. But at the moment, considering I haven't seen the suit in the series, I'm gonna say probably the main outfit that he's been wearing thus far, but I would also keep my options open for it to possibly be the more Captain America looking outfit. Then the next figure also seems like another obvious choice here, and that is Bucky Barnes here, of course, the Winter Soldier or White Wolf, whatever you want to call him for this, but I think of course it would just be his main sort of look that he's been sporting throughout the season thus far. I don't really think Bucky's going to get a huge costume change. If he does, I mean, that would be really cool to get to see, but it just doesn't seem like something that I would really expect. But I really do love the look of him in this season. I think he looks great. I really love his sort of like leather jacket that he's always wearing, and his metal arm of course looks really great, so I think we could get some really good updated printing with that, and some really great detailed printing as well on his torso and legs. And then the face and the hair, I mean, I think that's a bit more generic. I would say you could probably just reuse an old face for Bucky, or maybe give him a new expression. I think that would be something that's smart for Lego to do, but I think with the hair you could probably just use like the Superman hair, so I think that would be quite a high possibility for the series to go along with Sam, of course. Alright, so now for the third figure here was a toss-up between two characters who have both been very prominent in the series thus far, and the first one that I considered was Captain America here, of course, the John Walker version who takes over the mantle, and I think there is still potential for him to possibly be included in the series, but I feel like this would just be a bit more of a bland choice, because even though his Captain America uniform is slightly different from Steve's, I still think that it isn't absolutely necessary that we get get this character in this series. The one that I would be pushing for more so is Baron Zemo, because of course he winds up donning more of his comic book costume in this series, and I think that would just be really cool to see it translated into a minifigure. I think it would be great if they did a molded mask. I would really hope that they wouldn't just do a printed face or on a minifigure head where it's just like the purple mask. I would really like to see them do an actual molded mask for him to be able to put on, and I think that would be a really great choice for the series. So I would definitely say I would love to get Baron Zemo in the series over getting John Walker. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the Loki series here, and of course for the first character, obvious choice here once again, it's Loki of course, but for the actual costume, my guess would be that it's like his Vote Loki uniform that he's wearing at the end of the first trailer that was revealed. I think this one would make the most sense because of course it's like a comic book accurate looking suit, and I think it's a really unique look for Loki as well. And the one thing I want from this Loki minifigure is a new face print for Loki. Please give us, Lego, a new face print that actually looks like Tom Hiddleston and is not using the same old Lex Luthor face that they've been using for so many different characters. I think that they could do such a great job with this figure, giving him a lot more expression. Of course, Loki's very cheeky looking, very mischievous, so I think it would just fit so much better if they gave him a new expression that matched a lot better, and also possibly a new hair mold as well with the helmet kind of molded into it. I think that would be really great to see because the oversized horns don't really work very well, especially for this sort of look here because he's showing all of his hair coming out. So I think they could definitely improve a lot of points on Loki here, and then of course the torso would look really great. I think that would just all be fantastic, a match made in heaven there for the Loki design, and it could possibly wind up being the best Loki figure that we ever receive. Then the next character that I would guess could appear in the series here, and with Loki I would say it's the most unclear one as to what characters we could receive, because I would say thus far in the trailers that we've seen, Loki is the most like cool looking character from the series. Everybody else seems to look very much more like generic and sort of like your typical business person, but the character that I would select here who seems to be quite prominent in the series is Owen Wilson's character here, who seems to be called Mobius and Mobius. That's at least what I found when I looked him up on the cast, but I don't believe we've heard his name in the actual series thus far. But I think from him, as you can see, we haven't gotten many looks at him, so he could have a different appearance at some point within the series where he has a more like flashy look to him, but for now we just kind of see him in a business attire and then just sort of like Owen Wilson's face of course. But I think it still could be a cool minifigure. I don't know if I'd absolutely love it as much as some of the other options that we've gone over thus far, but I think it could still wind up being a really cool addition in the series. Alright, so now the final character that I would guess could be included in this CMF series from the Loki show could possibly be Lady Loki. Now you might not be familiar with this character even from the trailers because we haven't really got a close look at this character, and we don't even know if she's officially confirmed to be in the show, but we're just guessing that this character who keeps appearing throughout the trailers briefly seems to be that character, and you can see sort of a behind the scenes look at her right here, and I think that she could be a really cool addition here. Of course, it's just like a female version of Loki, and I think that could be really interesting. I'm not too familiar with the backstory of this character, of course not yet, having seen the show and not reading the comics as of yet either, so I'm not familiar with them, but I think they could be a really cool addition and definitely have a very unique look to them. Alright, now the final series that we have here to choose from is the Marvel What If show, and for this one there are just a ton of possibilities. We've only received one trailer thus far for this series, so we haven't seen a lot of what it's going to include in the show, so there's very limited options here, but for the ones that we do have, I would be really excited if we received any of this in this CMF. So the first one that I have here is a zombie version of Captain America, and yet another reason why I don't think we will receive a John Walker minifigure, because why would you include two Captain Americas in this series? So if it is the case that we wind up getting the zombie version, then I would completely write off getting the John Walker version, but I think that this would be really cool to get to see. Of course, you could have a really creative face print for the character, and then the torso and the legs you could have a lot of fun with as well. Maybe even add some additional blood splatter onto the mask as well. I think that could be really cool to get to see, so I think there's a lot of fun possibilities series with this, and I would love to see them wind up doing that for the CMF. Okay, then the next character that we have here is the evil version of Doctor Strange here, who just briefly appeared in the trailer, so of course I don't know the context of him showing up within the actual series, but I do think he has a really cool design here, and we haven't received a version of Doctor Strange since the Infinity War sets in the Sanctum Sanctorum, so I think it would be really cool to get this new variant of the character here, just looking super cool and very menacing as well. I think you could have a lot of fun with the face print, and then just the actual like cloak and everything I think would look fairly similar, but maybe with just some darker colors to it, so I think it would be a really cool addition to the series. Alright, so now we've made it to the final minifigure here for the series from my predictions list, and the character that I've chosen here is T'Challa as Starlord right here. I think this would be a super cool variant to get. I love the purple on the mask there. I think that looks really great, and then just the actual like torso and everything could look really cool with the jacket that he's sporting. I think it would definitely be a really awesome look for the character, and you wouldn't even have to do a new mold for Star-Lord's helmet as well, so I think it would definitely be an easy one to put into the series. Now I would like to see some other characters as well. I think that there's some other cool variants that we'll wind up seeing throughout the What If series that we just haven't seen yet in the trailer, so there's going to be a lot of possibilities, I'm sure, as more things wind up getting revealed, but for now those are my choices from all of the Disney Plus shows. Alright, so I hope you all did enjoy the video here, and let me know what you think of all of my choices here for my predictions list. Be sure to let me know yours down below in the comment section, and if you agree with mine as well, and if you did enjoy the video, it would be highly appreciated if you could leave a like. Also subscribe as well if you would like to check out some of my other videos. That would be highly appreciated, so thank you so much. I will see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.